Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Eternal Midnight. I'm here with Chad. What's up, dude?
Hey, what's up, guys?
So for today, we are doing something different. We just finished Friday the 13th. The entire saga's done. So we're gonna go back into superhero territory for a bit. But we've already covered Justice League and the
Ugh,
Avengers because
ugh.
now we're doing Chad and I are doing real heroes now. Real heroes
Real heroes.
real heroes who can really kick ass.
I
Who
love the
can
pun.
kick ass. So Chad, kick ass 2010. Your thoughts, please.
Kickass 2010 is amazing.
Oh,
It is right up there with one of my favorite superhero films ever made. So when it first came out, I didn't see it in theaters, but I'd heard about it and I bought it when it came out on DVD. And I remember I watched it and I was like, this is one of the best movies ever. And I remember I had I invited five, six of my friends over, and I'm like, guys, I got this awesome movie. It's called Kick-Ass. We gotta watch this. It's great. We finished the movie, and I remember I looked at all my friends. I probably had the biggest grin on my face. I'm just like, guys, what'd you think? Wasn't that awesome?
yeah.
Every single one of them was like, yeah, it was okay. I was like, get the fuck out of my house. But no, for real, all of them were just like, it was okay. I'm like, this was great. What are you guys talking about?
Yeah. And I actually, for me, I actually saw the trailer of Kick-Ass on my MacBook, my old MacBook. I was like, oh, this looks pretty cool. It's a superhero movie, and I've been getting into superhero movies recently. I want to watch it, and I didn't know there was like a parental rating. So it's like, oh my god, it's R16. So I can't watch it. And I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, you can't watch it. You have to wait until you're 16. And I was like, I'm I'm 9. That's gonna take like so long. Can we just like? So I asked my grandmother to get me like a pirated version of the. She know what it was. She's like, yeah, it's a super movie. Here, take it, and I put it in, and like, I was immediately blown away with how good it was. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Kick-Ass is a story everyone can relate to because everyone, as Dave Lazuski said, everyone wants to be a superhero at one point. Everyone wants to be a superhero, but like no one's actually done it because it's impossible.
You
Because
can't.
you really can't. You're gonna get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
that's, that's basically what it is. But like I like the fact that Dave he's doing this not because it's not like a super which we reviewed recently. Uh it's not like Super, which we reviewed recently, where the main character was basically had like a bit of a mental problem, and he wanted to save save his wife from the bad
Hmm.
guy. He thinks the bad guy captured her. No, but Dave just really wants to. He just really wants to, save the world from crime and save his city.
Well, he
And
just wants to do it, yeah, because he wants to do it because it's the quote unquote right thing, but he also wants to do it because he's like, it'll be cool because nobody else has ever done it before.
exactly, and uh, I love that first scene where he fights the two carjackers,
Oof.
and he just gets stabbed in the stomach because like he has no idea what he's doing.
He
He doesn't
was
know,
in so far over his head.
he has no idea how to fight. He has no idea how to use those baton things that he has, and he has no idea what to do. And eventually, like even when he confronts Razul and he meets Hit Girl, we're gonna talk about her later, and Big Daddy, uh, she he is like so in over his head because he almost died if Hit Girl wasn't there.
If Hit Girl hadn't shown up, he would have died in that apartment that night.
Yeah, Razul would have stabbed him in the throat, and that would be the end of Dave. Like no more Dave Wazuski anymore, no more kick ass because like, there what I like about this, it just shows how realistic the world of crime really is. It's unforgiving, like and that's something that Matthew Vaughn did with Layer Cake. It's like this world of crime, it's bad and evil as hell. So you're gonna get killed. Like
And it
Brazil,
was a big, and it was definitely, we'll get to Kick Ass 2 obviously later, but it's like that was a big mistake that the team made in Kick Ass 2 was if you push crime, they're going to come back full force. And it's like even in this one, Dave Dave started learning that the hard way.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
when Frank D'Amico, his team thought Kickass was the one taking out all his men, but it was actually
Exactly.
Big Daddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, he would have died that night.
He would have
There
died.
was
Like,
multiple times in this movie where Dave Lazuski was about to get killed.
David, like at least twice, David Suzuki would have died if Hit Girl didn't show up.
Well, he was lucky he didn't die when he got hit by the car. He probably
Exactly.
should have died from that.
He probably should have died.
Then with Hit Girl saving him, then in the warehouse, and he's also lucky he didn't get killed at the end of the movie in the skyrise.
Exactly. He could have died there also. Because being a superhero is dangerous. Like being a superhero in this real world. I mean, like yeah. Unless you have like billions of dollars, like Batman or Iron Man, you're not gonna be able to fight.
Yeah, being a superhero is not like you see in like the Avengers movies where they all stand around and laugh and drink together. It's like you're going to have injuries that could potentially last a lifetime. You're not
Yeah,
just going to get like the shit beaten out of you one night and then the next morning wake up and the swelling is gone or the stab has automatically healed or anything.
yeah. It's like Wolverine, where like he gets hit and then the scars heal up. It's like nah, you're gonna get pummeled. And like I love how Dave Lazuski, like on his own, he barely survives the first attack, right? And then of course you of course it's like you go through his high school life and you can see like his life is ordinary, so he wants to do something extraordinary. But this is the point where like this is too much. You can't go near that stuff, right? You can't just go up against fighting the biggest crime boss in New York City.
Mm-hmm. And look at that. He got caught, and that was the thing. He got caught up in a bigger world than he was even expecting.
Yeah,
Like, so we'll jump to Big Daddy and Hit Girl now. When
yeah.
he first saw them, like remember that he went home that night and he was just like, "Why am I even doing this anymore?"
Yeah,
He's
he
like,
wanted to
"Look
retire.
at how badass those two are. I'm useless."
He wanted to retire. He wanted to be like, I don't want to do this anymore because clearly there are people doing it better, and I almost died if they didn't show up. And then like, okay, let's talk about Hit Girl. Hit Girl is a freaking badass in this movie.
She's a beast.
She
She is an unstoppable assassin.
she is a girl that is amazing, and Chloe Grace Moretz did a fantastic job with
Yeah, she
her
did.
talent. She was amazing, and I really like what they did with her because she was the scene she was the scene stealer.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I mean, every scene she was in was awesome. I mean, we'll cover my favorite scene probably in a little bit because I think this scene I'm going to mention is like everyone's favorite scene. But it's like every scene, like we'll go to like Razul's apartment. I mean, that was when we got the true taste of Matthew Vaughn violence in this movie. We had body parts flying everywhere, like just people, and it's like she's not like hitting people with a stick. She's slicing them to pieces with a blade.
Yeah, it's like I thought like in the poster or in the trailer it was advertised as Hit Girl has like this bow staff. Like okay, because I've seen the Teen Titans cartoons. Like okay, so it's like Robin, like he's gonna hit people with a stick, and like they're gonna get knocked out. No, and I'm like the first scene you get, the blade goes through Razul's like body. And it's like is that? And at the first time I saw it, I was like, is that a bad guy? Is that like a new bad guy? And I know that he falls down and Hit Girl's there with her stuff. Like, oh my god, it's Hit Girl, and she has a staff with a blade on it. Like that's insane. And then like she proceeds to wipe out the entire room. Like she cuts a guy's leg off.
Probably my favorite shot of that was at the very end when it like you thought it was over and she like kind of like disconnected them and that like whore was trying to run out the door and it was locked and it was like Hit Girl's like walking towards her and then it shows outside both blades just go right through and the blood starts coming out and the bouncer in front of the door was like fuck this and he just took off running.
Exactly.
I was like, damn, she just nailed that chick to the door.
Oh, that's insane. And I also like to be honest, I do like Red Mist, Chris D'Amico.
Yeah,
Like he's
Chris
understandable.
was a very interesting character.
Red Mist is interesting because like this basically he's the origin of the supervillain. Like you could tell like he likes Dave as a friend. Like even in that first scene where they're buying comic books, like Dave is like gonna approach Chris D'Amico and is like, hey, can we, hang out and all that? But then like the big bodyguard's like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it's like he just ruined it for him. He like the bodyguard like took his only chance away for like an actual friend.
Yeah, exactly. And like even when they're both in costume, like when they got captured, Red Mist wanted Frank to spare his life. Like, hey, he didn't do it. It was him.
Yeah, he's like, it was that guy who looks like Batman. He's like Kickass is just a kid like me. He's like, Kickass is a nobody. He's like, this kid doesn't even know how to fight. He's like, this kid hasn't been doing shit to you guys.
Yeah, he's not the one. He's not the vigilante taking out. It's Big Daddy, not him. So I wanted to spare his life because he's my friend. But then like obviously like he resigns from that because he wants to be part of his dad's business, and this is part of his dad's business to do this, and eventually he stops. But like at least even if he's a villain, credit where credit is due, he tried to get Kick-Ass out of that situation.
Mm-hmm.
But of course not. Of course that didn't happen. Like and we get the best scene. We'll talk about that later.
Mm-hmm.
So and even Big Daddy, I like the story of Big Daddy too. Like he was a cop, and then he ended up fighting. Like he ended up trying to fight Frank, and his wife, who's put in jail. His wife dies because of suicide and all that. So even that is like, you can tell like he's Big Daddy's fucked up in a way because he essentially trained Hit Girl to kill.
Yeah, he literally took a child and turned her into like one of the most violent people on earth.
Yeah, exactly. He essentially
took. I wouldn't say violent. I'll go with deadliest. One of the deadliest human beings on the planet.
Yeah, and like he manipulated Hit Girl to a point where like Hit Girl thinks this is all comic book. Hit Girl thinks it's all comic book. Like, we're gonna put on costumes and we're gonna stop the bad guy. But like as she will see later, that's not gonna be the case, right? And Frank D'Amico is actually also a really good villain. I really liked him. Obviously, I like the villain in Kickass 2 more, but we're gonna get to that because even his name's like, whoa, what the hell? But Frank D'Amico's intimidating enough to be like, oh, he's a crime boss, and like the very first.
That's what happens when you have Mark Strong play the villain. I mean, Mark Strong is amazing in any role you put him in.
Mark Strong is good in whatever role you put him in, and I did like what he was doing in Kick-Ass, because he was like telling me, are you telling me that either there's two options to believe? You skimmed our product, or our product was stolen by Batman. Like,
I didn't say it looked like Batman. Or no, it wasn't. He was like, I didn't say it was Batman. I said he looked like Batman.
He was like, all right, he looked like Batman. And I break his fingers with a freaking plier. Like, oh god, I didn't want to see that.
Dude, okay, so speaking of that, with Big Daddy, Big Daddy had one of like
the most awesome.
The warehouse scene is amazing. We'll get to that. But the scene with Big Daddy taking out the warehouse on his own when they were watching through the nanny cam, that was so badass. Where he just stormed through the building. We're talking like shotgun blast, point blank range to people's heads, open up a door, throw a grenade in, lock the door. That scene was so fucking cool.
Yeah, I love that scene, honestly. It was one of the most badass ways to portray a character. Like that scene where Big Daddy is like, like it has the 28 Days Later music. And then they go in, like the camera does it's like a comic book. Like the camera like forwards into the screen, and then it goes from like green to like actual color. Like it's like how a comic book panel would go. And then like see Big Daddy grab the guy and stabs him. And
yeah, that was great. Let's jump to the warehouse scene though, because honestly, it's weird. It's not often you see a better action scene at like the end of the second act as opposed to like the finale of the movie. But this warehouse scene is one of my favorite action scenes like ever. It's like Kick-Ass and Big Daddy have been captured. They're both about to be like lit on fire on camera for like the whole world to watch.
And when I saw that, I actually thought they were gonna die.
I did too, because Dave was leading up to it. He's like, what? Just because I'm giving a voiceover, you think I survived?
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, maybe they will kill him and Hit Girl will be the main character for the rest of the movie or something. I would have been like, that would have been interesting. It's not what happened, but it would have been cool.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god. I genuinely thought that Kick-Ass was gonna, like, because they said in this movie numerous times that being a superhero is dangerous and you can die from it. So like, this is it, man. They're gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's like
suddenly the power goes out.
No, the guy gets shot first, and then the power goes out, and like, oh, what's going on? And then you see like the night vision goggles like tracking.
And then one of the coolest scenes ever of Hit Girl from her point of view, just as a deadly stealth assassin, going through and just wiping them out one by one.
Boom, headshot, knife
stabs them in the throat. And then
oh yeah,
Big Daddy knows she's there, so he's like shouting commands like do this, do this.
Yeah.
And then the best one to me, this is like one of my favorite shots in any comic book movie is Robin's revenge.
Ooh, yeah.
When she has the strobe light go to Robin's revenge, she puts her right there, blinds them all. That music is playing, the strobe light's going off, and she's just gunning the rest of them down. Oh, that scene was so sick.
That's beautiful.
And you know what? That is why Matthew Vaughn is a master of his craft.
Yeah, because like it feels like a comic book. Like that scene is like, now switch to kryptonite, and then like she turns the strobe light on, and everyone's like, oh, I can't see. Oh, it's awesome. And then like she goes back, and then like she kills people. She kills the person. She kills the robbers, and then they all die. Hilarious. Exactly.
And then, and that's another thing I liked about this scene was it showed no matter how hard she tried, Big Daddy still died.
Yeah, no, and it shows what the movies has been saying this entire time. Being a superhero can get you killed, and this is the prime example because she was able to save her dad. Her dad burned and died in that warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then that scene honestly, that scene makes me tear up because like, oh man, like, you know, she removes the mask and you know, Big Daddy's there. It's like, hey, you did so well. You know, I love you so much.
I love how he always calls her child.
Yeah, and then like he just falls to
Yep.
He just falls to the ground like he passes.
And then the next scene, Dave's like, fine, hey, you know, grab some of your stuff. You can stay at my house. And she's like, nope, gear up. We're finishing this fight tonight. And he's just like, but your dad just died. She's like, the fight isn't over.
Yeah, exactly. I
love that scene where I always love it because it's the way like the lighting is, the way they play the music, where Dave goes in the bathroom to like wash himself up, and it plays like the Kick-Ass theme as he's looking at himself in the mirror, blood covering his face, and he's just like realizing, like 3 months ago I was a normal kid reading comics with my friends, and now I barely survived dying minutes ago, and now I was just told by an 11-year-old, gear up, we're going to war with the mob right now.
That's insane. I love that scene right because like the Kick-Ass music, the thing is like, oh my god, that's amazing. And I honestly, like, what heartbreaks me is that scene where she goes back to the house and there's like 2 cups of hot chocolate there.
Oh,
yeah,
that was supposed to be theirs.
Yeah, and I'm glad that Big Daddy got away to say goodbye to his daughter because like the last time he saw his daughter, she got shot, and like the last sight of her is that, you know, her in his arms and like she's okay, and that he can rest knowing that the daughter will survive, which is amazing, and I did like that. And then if we're gonna, I love the big action fight. I mean, this is where Matthew Vaughn kinda went a bit comic booky, you know, for a realistic tone. This entire movie, this is where he kind of a bit comic booky. Like, I'll accept the Hit Girl taking out the people with like John Wick style, but what made it comic booky was the jetpack. and I can tell it. And
And
I
the bazooka.
I know it was a very amazing scene, and I love that it has music, and then like he just guns down those three, and I can tell it was to give Dave like a moment of like badassness because Hit Girl and Big Daddy have been doing it this entire movie, and then it's time
He
for
had
Dave.
to do something to look like a badass.
Yeah, exactly, and this was it. So like flying and gunning down the man is like, oh, okay, that's clearly the scene to like make Dave a badass. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But yeah, so overall, I mean, yeah, Kick-Ass is a blast. I mean, I love it. I mean, shit, one of my best friends, this is like one of his favorite superhero films like ever made. I think it is his favorite superhero movie ever made.
Yes, I agree, and I think that the way it's set up, I think it's a great way to have a superhero origin story. It's a great way for also a villain origin story, and of course at the very end you get Chris D'Amico and his in his house.
He's like wearing that like Hannibal Lecter type mask.
He's wearing the Hannibal Lecter type of mask. He says the classic Jack Nicholson.
Wait till they get a load of me.
Wait till they get a load, and he shoots the camera, and that's it. Boom, and that's the end of the movie. So now we're going into a very controversial movie because I've met some people who love it. I've met some people who hate its guts. Kick-Ass 2. Chad, what are your thoughts on Kick-Ass 2?
Well, I literally rewatched it because like Kick-Ass is a movie I've seen so many times that like I didn't really need to rewatch it for this. I probably should have just for the hell of it, but I didn't. But the second one I haven't watched in a while, and I'm very glad I did because while it's not up to par with the first one, you can definitely tell it's directed by it. You can definitely tell it's not directed by Matthew Vaughn.
Yeah,
Jeff Wadlow, you did a good job, man. I will give you props. You're not there yet. I could tell you wanted to do what Matthew Vaughn did. You're not quite there yet. Keep going though. Keep going in that direction. And you did a good job he did a good job with his action scenes. The only problem is, and I can't quite place my finger on it though, something felt like it was missing from this movie.
I felt, to be honest, I feel the exact same thing. The actings were good. To me, it just felt like it was too much of a hit girl coming of age movie.
Well, that's because in the defense of the movie, that's because this movie was a combination of Kick-Ass 2 and the Hit Girl spin-off comic book. They took because there's for those of you out there who don't know, there's Kick-Ass 1, 2, and 3, and then there's the Hit Girl comic. And this story was they adapted both of them, but they combined it into one story. Oh, and for anyone out there who has not read them, if you get a chance, read them. I've got the box set of all 4 books. I read them about a year and a half ago. I'm definitely overdue to reread them again. They are amazing books. But yeah, so that's why Santino, it felt like more of a Hit Girl story because they took her solo story and mixed it with Kick-Ass 2.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like there's Kick-Ass's story. Because it feels like there's 2 stories going on. There's Kick-Ass's story where he's working with Jim Carrey as the Colonel and finding a new girlfriend who's, to be honest, actually hotter than the original girlfriend.
You want to know why? It's because it was Lindy Booth, and Lindy Booth is fucking gorgeous.
So he's hanging out with his new girlfriend. His 2 best friends have become superheroes also. He's working with the
Even though they swapped out Todd. Is it because in the first movie, the guy who played Todd is the guy who plays Flash, who played Flash for the Fox X-Men movies.
You mean Quicksilver?
Yeah, Quicksilver.
Whoa!
I told you excuse me.
No, yeah.
Whatever. So the original Todd, was it because he was busy filming like Days of Future Past or something?
I guess so, yeah, because Days of Future Past.
The guy they got for Todd was dog shit in this movie.
Days of Future Past was 2014, May. So I assume it's because of that.
Yeah, it must have been because this came out in August of 2013. So yeah, he was probably busy with X-Men.
Yeah, see, so I assume it's because of that.
Is he Flash? That's because Flash is more badass than Quicksilver.
Oh,
Controversy.
no. Yeah. So Kick-Ass 2, back on track. I'll be with you. I do like the villain more in Kick-Ass 2 than the original Kick-Ass. I think
And what's this villain's name?
Chris D'Amico as the motherfucker. and his
Oh God.
team, which will not be named because we don't want to get like banned from this channel. But you know what
Love it.
team's name is, Chad?
I love his outfit too. It's a giant.
It's like a BDSM thing. It's like, oh god.
It's a giant fucking like latex suit. He's got feathers coming off. It's amazing. See, that's why when I was rewatching it, I was like, I wanted more of the people in the costumes, and we'll get to like the best one of the entire movie in a little bit. But it's like I genuinely thought it was cool seeing everyone in their outfits because it was like, and it's almost like that's where it's like I had fun watching it, but the movie also sort of stumbled because it's like it went from the attempted realism of the first one, and this one it was just like, yeah, good luck. You're not going to be people cannot march around downtowns wearing well, okay, I was gonna say you can't walk around wearing masks, but up until this year, but the way they were dressed in the movie, you can't walk around the city streets like that. You can't.
Yeah, actually, and also to be honest, I love how like the motherfucker is basically he's blatantly racist with naming his teammates. Like he's like this ex-Chinese mob boss. What is he? Genghis Carnage. Easily like
Genghis Carnage. There was a black guy. He calls him Black Death.
Oh my god! And like the 6-foot Russian girl,
Mother Russia was
awesome.
the best character in this fucking movie.
She takes the lawnmower, and
that scene where she wipes out like a dozen police officers, that is one of the best scenes of this whole movie.
Yeah,
that woman is fucking unstoppable.
And then I love the joke that Mother Russia gets she gets paid extra. Like, oh yeah, I can see why. Because
the cops are coming and the two of them are like, should we just let her do it? Hell yeah, man, she gets paid way more than we do. She takes a cigarette, puts it on the end of like a giant like propane tank, and just over her head throws it through a cop car's windshield and blows up the whole car. And they're just like, money well worth spent.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but that's not the best kill. The best kill is the lawnmower kill, where she takes some lawnmower, she backs up with a police car, she rams it into the other police car, and then it goes in like we're dying.
That was amazing.
Yeah, and so like that's the kick-ass part of the story. What about the hit girl part of the story? Because the hit girl part of the story is like I get it, but it's boring. I mean, like I get like. This
I think
to me
something that I genuinely think that's almost something that could resonate with girls maybe better than maybe it could resonate better with girls or with somebody that age who's being forced to hang out with somebody outside of their interests or their clique or something maybe like almost like the book nerd being forced to hang out with the jocks or a jock being forced to hang out with the book nerds or something, because it's like she's an assassin and she's being forced to hang out with like basically clones of the girls from Mean Girls, and she's like, what am I supposed to do with these people? I have nothing in common with them. And when she tries to let her guard down and change, she realizes that they don't want her. And that's what I did. That's another thing about this movie that I did like was when she was training Dave at the beginning of the movie, and she's like, you need to learn that Dave Lazuski is your mask. Kick-Ass is who you are. Because he flipped it around on her. He's like, you are Hit Girl. Mindy is your mask. And she tried her hardest to be like, no. And then when what happened to her at that party, she was just like, I am Hit Girl. Mindy is my, my alter ego, but Hit Girl is who I am.
Exactly. And I did like that. I'm not saying it was I'm not saying the arc was bad. I mean, like, the arc wasn't bad. It's just the fact that it wasn't as good as I was expecting, which is fine. I mean, like, but like
the comic did it better. The comic did it way better.
Exactly. I just felt like, okay, this is like I understand why they're doing this, and I completely get it. It just felt like I think this could have been done way better than it should have been doing.
That's
But
fine.
it's okay. For the record, it's not as bad as it's not bad. It's just not that good either.
See, now it's funny because I remember like the big emotional scene from the first one was the warehouse and right after with Big Daddy getting killed. But a scene that massively hit me was when Dave got that text from Chris of his dad being murdered in prison.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that was like, wow. The way that was filmed, I thought was great. Where it was like he checks the text and it's like it shows him dropping the phone and him just crumpling to the floor in tears. And it's like props to Aaron Taylor Johnson. He did a great job in that scene of just like not even being over dramatic, just how a teenager would do it, just falling to the floor and basically going into like the fetal position and crying because you were just sent a picture of your dad getting killed.
Yeah, so well done. How was he killed again?
Chris ordered his dad covered for him when all the masked heroes.
For being Kickass.
Yup, and so Chris ordered 2 of his men who were in prison to kill his dad because he found out who Kickass was.
Right. And that sucks because, but again, like as we've said before, every action has its consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Kickass murdered.
I think that was a good carryover from the first one.
Kickass murdered his dad in the first one, and now Chris D'Amico, like, it's been a few years, but he never forgot that, and he murdered his dad.
And he got his revenge.
He got his revenge, and I love the final fight, honestly, like with all the superheroes. And then,
all the heroes versus the villains.
Yeah, and like I love the fact that it's a way of passing the torch, I guess. Like Kick-Ass puts on Big Daddy's armor, and he's like, I'm a hero, and Dave Suzuki is the mask. So that's how he basically fights the motherfucker on the roof, and Hit Girl fights Mother Russia, one of the most awesome fights ever.
I love that. Hit Girl tried her best to hold her own, and I loved her secret weapon. She like pulls that syringe out, and Mother Russia's like, "Try to poison me, bitch." Shoots her up with it instead, and she's like, "Adrenaline, bitch." And then that fight scene when she gets the glass, that all that fight with the glass was amazing to watch. Where it was like, she's just slicing her, and then I always love it. They do that slow down, speed up thing where it's like, she throws the glass in the air, and everything else is slowed down, except Hit Girl grabbing the glass out of the air and just stabbing Mother Russia to death.
Oh, yeah, that was so good. Credit where credit is due. The fight scenes directed by the director were amazing. And
They were amazing in their own style. Because it's like, when watching them, I was like, I can see some of it. He was trying to emulate Vaughn, but I was like, Vaughn has his style, and I don't think anyone else is going to be able to emulate it. But it was like but like I said, the director of the action scenes that he had, like the action scene up on when Dave got kidnapped right after the funeral, and Hit Girl was on the top, and she was taking out all the thugs trying to save him. That scene was awesome. Like, he did a great job on that highway chase.
Right. I did like it, honestly.
So, what did you think of the team? Captain Stars and Stripes in the team.
I thought Colonel Stars and Stripes was actually fun.
Oh, did I say Captain? I mean Colonel.
Yeah, Colonel Stars and Stripes is actually really good. Like, I like the fact that he has a dog that bites people's balls on command. Like, that's hilarious. I did like Night Bitch. She was hot. The two parents who lost their son was actually really nice.
Such a sad story.
Yeah, but I did like what's his name? Todd, what was Todd's? Not Todd, the other guy, the guy with the glasses. What was his superhero name? Like
Marty. He was Battle Guy.
Battle guy. There you go.
Worst name ever. Like, that's the best you can come up with, Battle Guy.
Yeah, like, but I did like that even they were a part of the superhero fight at the very end. You know, like Battle guy had like his shield and he was like blocking like some of the.
Even though, in all honesty, I think Marty would have been one of the people who probably would have died during that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But what I thought was cool about the team up was it was like it did feel like the world was expanding, but it's hard to expand a world where you're trying to have realism. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
because that's where things start falling apart, where it's like if you're going to be realistic, not like the first one, not a problem. There were some things that weren't, but for the most part, it was. In this one, it was almost like now we've completely gotten out of this ever could have been realistic or plausible. Which, you know what? That is,
It's
to
fine.
me,
It's fine.
I'm fine with it. I have no issues with it. But it's just, at that point, then you just kind of got to realize we need to go all out then. If we're going to abandon realism and we're going to step it up to the next level, then we just got to let it go and be like, we are going to go crazy. And that's why I think a lot of people hold that against this movie, where it's like, guys, realism's gone. Now we're at the point where this is a comic book movie. You gotta roll with it and have the fun with it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, Kickass, even Kickass 1 had that kind of like, we've almost got to the suspension of disbelief with a jetpack, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no way you can attach Gatling guns to a jetpack and have it like the weight and realistically.
And even if something like that did exist, the military would have it on lockdown somewhere.
Exactly. So that's the kind of disbelief there. But like in this one, it's just full on comic book at this point.
Okay, like the fight outside of Night Bitch's house where Mother Russia took out all those cops.
Yeah, it's not possible.
Okay, you people don't seem to get it. If one person took out a dozen police officers, that city would be on lockdown and the National Guard would be there.
Right.
If one human took out 12 cops with their bare hands,
yeah, exactly.
It would be chaos. It would be an absolute war zone in that city.
Exactly. Like Kick-Ass, like the first Kick-Ass to me is like, it is realistic except for like the last fight. It is. Kick-Ass 2 is just full on comic book. And if you're looking for a superhero movie with like 100% realism and like there's nothing comic booky about it, watch Super. Because Super is a movie where it's Kick-Ass's darker version, which is weird.
It's Kick-Ass's darker twin brother.
Yeah, it's pretty, which is weird because Kick-Ass is pretty dark on its own, but like Super's darker, and like there's nothing funny about Super, but like
no, there's not.
nothing funny about the movie. So it's basically Kick-Ass 2 is basically I like the fact that it embraced its comic book genre already.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, we've done the realism part. It's been a nice, like, fun way to do things. But I want to do comic book. And I give the director props for doing that, you know?
Definitely. So, you got anything else? I mean, I think the only thing I've got left for this is, it's not as good as the first one, but I genuinely stand by that it's not as bad as some people say.
Yeah, closing thoughts on it. My closing thoughts on it would be, it's definitely not good as the first Kick-Ass, but it's not as bad as people say. And I think, given a rewatch, if you re-look at it, it's actually a really nice movie. It just sucks that a lot of people looked this over because people didn't. People were like, it's not as good as the first one, so it's immediately bad. No, it's not that. It's just like, I appreciate the balls for the director to have his own style with the movie. Like, the director clearly wanted to do his own style, and that's what he did. He wanted to try and emulate his directing style in a Kick-Ass movie, which it wasn't even that bad, but it just wasn't as good as the first one.
Which is unfortunate because we live in such a world where people live and die by the whole, if the sequel's better than the first one, awesome. If it's not as good as the first one, it sucks. Like, almost like Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
Hey, just because Iron Man 2 is not as good as Iron Man 1 doesn't automatically make it a bad movie. And just because Kick-Ass 2 isn't as good as the first one does not mean this is a bad movie.
Exactly. I mean, like Iron Man 2 wasn't good as the first Iron Man, but is it a bad movie? Hell no. There's a lot of good scenes in that movie that I really appreciate. So
I
yeah,
think the biggest travesty to come out of this film is we had such a cool hook right at the end for what Kick-Ass 3 could have been, and we're never gonna get it.
what was that? What was that again?
The Dave was training and the metal Kick-Ass helmet. Yeah, metal
Oh,
Kick-Ass helmet.
Yeah, the Mel Kick something. Yeah, where it's like,
So it's like, where was that going? I wanted to see what they were gonna do with it, but it's like, it's been 7 years since Kick-Ass 2. We're not getting Kick-Ass 3,
we're not getting Chaos. It's a
which
shame.
is unfortunate. But I
It's
mean,
shame.
hey, you know what? If you want more Kick-Ass, like I said earlier, read the comics. They're really good. They're really good.
I really do recommend the comics also. And real
You
quick,
read them, right?
yeah, I read the first one,
Okay.
first Kick-Ass. And
And
real
I'm
quick,
just gonna say it. The first movie, I'd say, follows the first book pretty well. A few changes here and there. Um, the second one, like we said, this movie was an amalgamation of Kick-Ass 2 and the Hit Girl book. But I don't think they ever would have. We never. The way Kick-Ass 3 was written, we never would have gotten a direct adaptation of that. I don't think. I think it would have been cool because Kick-Ass 3 was a really interesting book, but it had something happen in it that I don't think they ever would have allowed into a film.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So Kick-Ass 1 and 2.
And real quick, I just want to say that this is the type of like superhero stuff I'm looking for. I mean, like as much as I love the MCU and I want to see more from it, I love the DCU also, but it's stuff like this, like Kick-Ass 1, 2, The Boys, The Umbrella Academy. It's stuff like this where it is definitely like these are what makes the superhero genre unique because you can go different directions. It doesn't always have to be save the world stuff.
Exactly.
Right? It can be something like this. It can be something like something like Kick-Ass, something like Umbrella Academy, where it's completely different than something else.
Something that's not a stereotypical, capes and gadgets and gods and suits.
Exactly. So that's Kick-Ass 1 and 2. Thank you guys for watching. And next month, actually,
Ooh, that's right. The big announcement.
next month, actually, we've been to, Chad, we've been to a galaxy far, far away. We've been to Hogwarts. We fought Thanos.
We went to summer camp.
We went to summer camp. We went to Manhattan with Kickass. We went to Metropolis and Gotham, the DC. I think it's time to return back to the land of magic and fantasy, but not anymore with wands or hippogriffs or nifflers. We're going to the land of elves, dwarves, men, and the One Ring to rule them all. In September, I'm proud to host Lord of the Rings. Can't wait.
Going to Middle Earth.
No.
Woo!
Oh, it's gonna be awesome.
Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait. We're covering all 6 movies. This is gonna be fun!
Alright guys, thank you so much for listening and we'll see you in the next video.
See you soon.